Gotta say, well, this has actually been a really good date. I wasn't expecting you to bring me to McDonald's, but it's been good. Good
You know what
first
they
date.
say about McDonald's?
What do they say?
You're loving it. And I'm loving it. I'm having a great time with you.
You're pretty charming, yeah.
Thank you. You know, I don't normally take women on dates from dating apps, but
No, I wasn't
figured this
sure about
was-
it either.
Yeah, and like I was looking at your profile, and you know, you're beautiful, and
Thank you.
well, I didn't see this.
What's wrong?
You're pro-choice?
Yeah, I put it on my profile.
I'm hating it.
What do you mean? What's wrong with that? It's a woman's right.
No, it is not a women's right. It's a human life.
Then why'd you ask me out on a date if you didn't agree?
I didn't see it.
Whose
I
fault
wish I
is
did.
that?
I wish I did see it because now my nuggets are spoiled.
Well, guess what? You took a girl to McDonald's on a first date. I was trying to be nice about it. I was trying to look past it because you're charming or whatever. But first of all, you're a bigot. You're not a feminist. And you took me to McDonald's.
These is my nuggets.
Well, great. I hope you and your nuggets are happy because I don't see you ever having a girlfriend at any point in the near future. So,
Thank you.
Don't break up, guys. I still need a ride home.
Mom, can we leave yet?
let's go, Timmy. And scene. Thank you guys so much for watching Will and Amala Live. We are here, and today we do have a special guest on the podcast by the name of Richard Lim, our resident presidential expert. Richard, thank you for coming on.
Always good to be here. This is going to be a spicy event.
It is.
I heard.
It is.
Yes.
Richard is here not just to sit through the show today and provide commentary, which he will do, but Richard is here as, you know, our resident expert in presidential trivia, because we're going to be playing a trivia game that involves hot sauces. You can see our hot sauce wheel here, although we're going to be using a digital wheel so you guys can see, numbered 1 through 15, where we answer trivia, and if we get it wrong, we have to eat hot sauce. And Will is very excited for this.
I hate this stupid game. It makes my stomach turn.
But you guys love it, and because of that, we choose to suffer for your entertainment, always and forever. So you're welcome. Now we're going to get into our actual stories of the day. So Will and I opened with that dating skit because OkCupid, here's the story off of Twitter, OkCupid is now adding a pro-choice and a pro-life badge onto their profiles. So you can make your little OkCupid dating profile and you can put that you're pro-choice. So that's fun.
Well, first of all, I didn't know anyone still used OkCupid. I thought that was like a relic of the past of dating apps.
People definitely still use OkCupid. I don't know what people use
Yeah,
OkCupid.
where is OkCupid on the spectrum of like hookup
Popularity.
to like relationship app?
I want to say OkCupid is in between. So I'm going to put Tinder and Hinge on the left side, and then I'm going to put OkCupid in the middle, and then we're going to put like eHarmony and JDate at the very right
I
side.
thought Hinge
about-
was more about relationships, designed to be deleted.
I mean,
I thought it's
okay,
like
that's what I'm
Tinder's
saying.
like straight
Tinder,
up hookup.
Hinge, OkCupid, eHarmony,
Oh,
JDate.
wow.
What about Black People Meet?
I've never heard of her.
Farmers only.
Yeah, what about Farmers Only?
Christian Mingle.
That's real?
Yeah. That's
Oh,
a thing.
I didn't know
They used
Farmers
to have
Only.
infomercials in the 90s.
You've never heard of Black People Meet?
No.
You
Do you
haven't?
just assume that I have heard about that because
Well, where
I'm
do you
black?
meet them? Where else do
Where
you
do you
meet them?
Wait, how did I meet Amala again?
Yeah, my free profile.
What profile did we meet on for this date? No.
But is it
Yeah,
actually
never heard of it.
problematic that OkCupid added this badge?
No, I don't think it's problematic.
Now, did they add a pro-life badge as well?
You know what? I don't. All the article stipulates is that they have a pro-choice badge. So I think it's if you don't have the pro-choice badge, I'm just going to assume that you're pro-life. But it doesn't say anything about having a pro-life.
And it says they created it in response to the Texas bill, right?
Yes.
It also veers people away from responsibility, because if you're going on a date with a girl and on her profile it says she's pro-choice, it means that you can be more irresponsible when you are doing things. And that's but I'm saying
Yeah,
like that's
it's
what it does.
true.
It'll make people be more irresponsible because they're like, oh well, she'll just get an abortion if we have intercourse and you know we don't want to be protective or be responsible. And so it ruins the culture even further. So
Right.
I guess that's the bad part of it. At least
is
I
the
would
bad
say.
part.
But it is good that if you are a conservative or a pro-life type of person and you see someone on there and it says pro-choice, you're like, all right, I don't really want to, date someone who's fine with killing children, and then you're like, okay, I'm not going to
Right.
do
You
that.
already know where your potential date lies, and you can just sort of, move on to the next profile. And I would imagine that if they have a pro-choice badge on their dating profile, you can pretty much imagine where they lie on other political issues. So it does kind of help with the whole weeding out system.
Yeah, they probably have cats. They probably are.
Oh, it's so accurate.
Probably love Disney Plus.
Teen Vogue.
Yeah.
Cosmo.
Probably they.
Probably.
But one part where you're losing, Will, is they probably have a lot of indoor plants. I found
No way.
the girls that I meet
No.
that have the most indoor plants, which Will is a huge fan of. If you haven't watched our previous episodes, they're always leftists.
I love indoor plants.
I love indoor plants.
I know.
and
My wife has a bunch of indoor plants, but she's not.
I'm just saying, typically,
How do you know?
fair.
because they're. What do you mean?
Well, you go to a
Because
lot of
they're all
women's
like-
houses.
No, because it's kind of like an indie thing to do, and it's like, I'm pro environment. Look at my house plants. I think any woman would concur with me on this.
No,
Just letting you know.
they expect the plants to take care of themselves, and so they let them die. Leftist women cannot take care of plants like a conservative woman can. Conservative women have a green thumb.
Richard, do you want to weigh in on this? What do you think?
So I have an aunt who I love her, but she's like the clueless person in the family. And I hope she's not watching. Anyway, but she has festooned her entire house with plants, but she doesn't know a thing about politics. About a couple weeks ago, she literally said to me and my cousins, "Did Hillary Clinton run for president?"
Oh.
And so,
Auntie, no.
yeah. God bless her. I love you, Aunt Melly. But anyway, she like the whole house is like a jungle. So
I love that.
yeah.
You don't need politics when you can just live in the jungle.
I know Robin Williams did it whenever he came out and was like, "What year is it?"
It's like
I
Jumanji.
wish I was
Hilarious.
that.
It's like Little Shop of Horrors. You guys ever
Oh,
watched
yes.
this movie?
Feed me, Seymour.
Exactly.
That was a pretty good. Yeah. Suddenly Seymour. But you can now decide whether or not you're pro-choice on your OkCupid profile. So for all of you OkCupid daters out there, don't put the badge on it.
I would be curious to know if you're in the comments right now, you're watching this. Let me know what dating app you use. If you use a dating app,
Yes.
I'd be interested to know.
None of us online date. Well, Taylor and Scott are married. Richard, are
Together.
you married?
I am
To
married.
each other.
Richard is also married. Yeah. Scott and Taylor are married to each other. This is a recent development. And Will and I do not use dating apps. So you guys let us know. Let us know in the comments what you do.
I've
But-
used dating apps, back in the day.
Back in the Disney.
I do see a
Years
lot of
ago.
girls saying that they like that there's a badge because they know to swipe left or to move on from.
Right.
It's
guys.
good. Yeah,
Right.
no, it's a good thing.
Don't show their
I'm proud
views.
of it.
It is a good thing. Now, in other news, this week seems to be ripe with celebrity news. We've got some stories about Johnny Depp, some stories about Daniel Craig. We talked about Nicki Minaj earlier. Now, here's one by creator David Simon, creator of The Wire. He says he now refuses to film in Texas, citing the new abortion law. So because Texas has written this abortion law and created the heartbeat detection bill that bans abortion after the detection of a heartbeat, typically 6 weeks, David Simon here says, I'm no longer going to film in Texas.
I'm devastated by that. Truly.
so
I
sad.
don't know how Texas will recover. What are
It's
they
so
going to
sad.
do without this guy, this bald man?
But
not
it's weird.
doing in the state.
Can you, let's talk about this from a cancel culture perspective. Can you cancel a state?
He can. He sounds
You
like it.
can.
You remember a couple years ago when North Carolina did the bathroom thing, and
Right.
it was at Disney and a bunch of other studios said we're not going to film things in North Carolina. So I mean, that's what's scary about the times we live in is that big corporations, big tech, like you don't need there to be like a law against your state to cancel it. Like these companies are big enough to just undercut you based on their crazy beliefs and ruin your local economy. Like it is harmful to,
Right.
to the industry in Texas. People who are working there in film are losing opportunities because of this guy's woke beliefs.
But Texas is like the second or third most populous state? Mm-hmm. Something like that. Now it's going to be even more populous because life is being restored in that state, which is amazing. I mean, these giant corporations aren't going to completely be pulling out of Texas or anything. There's way too much money. They have way too much of a financial incentive. Texas has just as many Fortune 500 companies as California does. I mean,
Right.
and their GDP is rising at a faster rate than California.
It's an interesting question because somebody has to fill that market at some point. And if these big woke signaling corporations decide to leave, I'm sure somebody will step up and fulfill that market. So they're just leaving good business. They're not performing good business. But it's possible. It's definitely possible that, as conservatives, we talk about, we're just going to leave all these states and we're going to isolate ourselves into Texas and Florida. And there's a lot of people who own large businesses that will not do business in those states any longer, which is just a really interesting thing to think about long term.
Well, look, Elon Musk was going to take one of his factories out of California and move it to Austin, I believe.
Right.
I believe they did it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that.
So is this sort of going to be another step in the sort of balkanization of America, where we have businesses that move to places that support their politics, and we sort of create our two different parallel economies in America? That's a curious question.
It's annoying because a place like Salt Lake City, Utah, which has for a long time been a very conservative place, many Christians, many people of the LDS Church. It's been a very conservative, family-driven place, and a lot of big corporations are moving to Salt Lake City because it's cheap, it's nice, and there's a lot of nice people. And so they move to Salt Lake City, and Salt Lake City is turning into a place that is no longer so conducive to conservative thought. And that's a tough thing because they move out of California because they hate the taxes and they hate the stuff, even though they're on the left. But they move to another place and then bring those leftist values to ruin somewhere else.
Yeah, it's true. And we reacted to a video by the Academy of Ideas on a previous podcast called Mass Psychosis, and sort of breaking that down. And at the end of the video, they sort of stipulate what the solution is to mass psychosis. And it's for those that recognize the mass psychosis and this sort of political, ideological abyss that people are falling into, to step out of it and then create a parallel society that sort of mimics what people on the wokest side are doing. So is that eventually what's going to happen? Probably.
Yeah, I really don't know. Someone else, I forget who it was, but someone else sent me a DM, and they made a really good point too about like when this standing up to all these authoritarians and the people who are destroying the values that we believe in. How we do that is it's one thing to like refuse to wear a mask in a restaurant by yourself, and like, good on you for having integrity. But what we're seeing like in Australia and like with some of these giant protests, and we've seen it in France, all over the world really, when you unite with other people around that common cause and get organized, there you have a much bigger impact. When parents take over an entire school board meeting because they got organized and they're all marching to the beat of the same drum and they're all uniting together to defend the values, you become more of a force to be reckoned with. And I think there's something there with like when you're talking about a parallel society, it's like those of us who are still think for ourselves and care about facts and live in the world of truth and reality should band together and make ourselves more of a force to be reckoned with in culture. And in a sense, I think that can be what you're talking about with what it means to create a parallel society within. I don't like the idea of retreating to communes so much as uniting in our fight.
Great. Richard, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, I think throughout American history, one of the greatest things about our country is that we've had a live and let live philosophy. That, you could be of a certain political view, you can be of a certain religious view, but we can still do business together. We can still, you don't have to care what the religious views of this filmmaker, but now the filmmakers are saying, no, I don't even want to do business with you at all. Right. So it's really like a transformation, and it shows that the left isn't about tolerance. It's just about it's authoritarian is the term. It rejects everything that America's about, really.
Yeah.
Well, I am fine with if the left is going to cancel us. I am only fine with quote unquote cancel culture if the right is going to do the same thing back. If the right doesn't do the same thing back, then it's very annoying.
I know. It's so difficult because in this battle with leftism that we're going through right now, we feel the need to meet them at their extremes. And it's almost like we have no other option, because if we don't meet them at their extremes, the society just continues to progress in that way without us. So it's really difficult, especially when what they're doing is immoral. So when do we draw the line of where we would meet the left on their front? Because what they're doing is completely illogical. Obviously, that's not a line that we cross. What they're doing is immoral. Is that a line that we cross in order to defend ourselves against what leftists are doing?
Well, it's like, imagine you're in a relationship with a girl and you're telling the girl, and she's like, well, you have to do this, and you do it, and then you're like, well, can you do this? And like, I'll broom if you do the dishes.
I'll broom? You mean
broom.
sweep?
No, I'll broom.
Oh my goodness.
Broom.
Wow.
No, I will sweep if you do the dishes. And you're like, all right, I'll broom. And then you're like, well, it's time for you to do dishes. And she's like,
real men broom.
Yeah, real men
men broom.
Yeah.
They don't sweep.
No, women sweep, men broom.
Oh
okay?
my gosh.
No, but I'm like, you do this for her, and then she doesn't do it for you. It's pretty annoying. It's unfair. It's like you have to be able to like fight back.
But the analogy is a little different here because technically this is an abusive relationship. Right, this is like the girl
that's what it is. The left is abusive.
This is like the girl slaps you across the face. A totally immoral thing to do. Do you slap the girl back? No, you end the relationship. And unfortunately, that's not an option that we have. So.
Well, that's but that is because you're saying end the relationship. That's ending the relationship with people who hate your values. You know?
I guess I don't know.
If Coca-Cola puts out a seminar that says white people suck and telling their employees white people are the worst, they did that. That's what I'm saying. Like they did that. Why would you buy Coca-Cola?
Yes.
Do you think that? Do you think that a leftist is going to buy from a soda company that says
no?
You know, something very conservative. They're going to say no. I'm not going to buy it. But conservatives will continually buy products from leftist organizations, from places that they know don't support their values. And it's like if the left is going to do it to us, then you have to do it back to them.
Oh yeah, as far as boycotts go, absolutely.
They're going to destroy us.
Yeah, as far as boycotts go, absolutely. I just don't know how it pertains to doing business in places. It's just it's an interesting discussion.
You used to be able to you would go to a sports game, and even if the guy next to you, like, it doesn't matter his political beliefs. If you guys both rooted for the same team, you come together, you're hugging, you're having a great time, you're having some beers, some hot dogs, and it's like you're celebrating no matter who this guy voted for or whatever it is. But now it's not like that anymore. Now the left has gotten so radical. You can talk to pretty much anyone who's above the age of 40, and they will tell you that they have never seen a left wing in America quite like they have seen it today, how radical the left has gotten. So if the left has gotten this radical, and they have said, we want to purge America and the West of conservative voices, what else are you going to do except for cancel them back? Oh, you're going to buy their products when they say they hate your values? The NFL that says they want to donate $250 million to fight racism and have all these woke standards, all of this, and you're going to say, oh yeah, I'm going to give a ton of money to the NFL this year. It's
absolutely not. Yeah,
I just want to say I get along with everyone great when I go to WNBA games. The WNBA is just funny. You just say the WNBA,
You're there by yourself. That's
How
why
about
you
the WNFL? The WNFL.
You're there by yourself. That's hilarious.
Actually, I know somebody that had to go to a WNBA game because of community service. Like it was one of those.
Way.
Yes. Yeah.
I would rather go to jail.
There was a poll one time. It was one of those random online polls that said, would you rather see $5 on the ground or have your WNBA local team win the championship? It was like 85% $5.
Oh man,
that is amazing.
That's so sad. Listen, but I mean, it's granted. Have you ever watched one of the games? Well, you said, yeah, exactly. You've watched some of the games. I mean, they're falling on the floor every 30 seconds. They can't even stay. They're on the floor more than they're actually playing the game.
I hate just like beating it, but it's true. It's just not. It's not a very entertaining thing to watch.
College women's basketball is great.
Is it? I mean,
WNBA is horrible though.
Yeah, I've seen a couple like women's final a few years ago when like the UConn got upset by I think like Mississippi State or something, and there was like this epic comeback. I was like, okay, that was cool, but
sure,
yeah, in general, like your run of the mill women's basketball game. Is not
it's so bad feminists won't even watch the WNBA.
And I know nothing about.
Wow, that girl, she almost made a left-handed layup. This is highlight reel.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're gonna move on. Before we get to other celebrity news.
Fault, guys.
No, it's totally fine. It's a good discussion. I'm sure the comments are loving this. No, before we move on to other celebrity news, we got a couple of super chats here. This one is from Adam Thim. He says, "Is it a boycott if you aren't doing anything anyway?" I'm not sure what the question is exactly.
You mean like if you weren't buying it before and then you're just gonna not buy it also? I don't know.
Yeah.
If that's what you mean, then
sure.
I mean, I guess so, because you're still not choosing.
I'm going to not buy it even harder.
Yeah, exactly.
This next one is from Jake Chekalinsky. He says, to Amala, I see a man hit a woman. It lights a fire in my belly. I'm enraged. I see a woman hit a man. I want her stopped, but no rage. Am I sexist? Am I being hypocritical? Is it wrong? What's your take? Well, I mean... I don't know. This is a very interesting question. I have to think about this.
I don't have to think about it. It's common sense.
You don't think about it. Yeah. No, I'm saying I have to think about... It's obviously not sexist, no. But it's like a woman is not as strong as a man. Of course, you're going to feel a little less enraged. You know, when a man hits a woman, they're hitting someone of a weaker sex. When a woman hits a man, it's like you're punching up. You're not punching down. So I can see why you would feel more rage towards a man that chooses to hit a woman.
Hit me, Amala. Right in the face.
At the end of the show, maybe. We should do like on The Office when Michael lets Pam hit her as hard as she can.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
I'd be
remember that.
there for that. I'm sure you guys would donate to see that happen.
I'm sure they would. Probably more viewers than shaving the mustache.
Probably more
Amala
viewers.
punches Will in the face.
As hard as she can. Speaking of women hitting men, this next story is about Johnny Depp. So
What do those have to do with each other?
Amber Heard hit Johnny Depp. You guys
that
know
is
about
true.
that whole
Oh.
scandal? She
Oh,
abused him.
right, okay.
Okay.
That was actually a very clever transition.
It was
Yeah,
a
that was.
very
Good job, Amala.
Thank
It
you.
was so
Sorry,
clever
Will
that we
ruined
didn't
it.
even get it. How did I ruin it? I just didn't get it.
I know you're not in tune
It's
with.
ahead of its time.
You're not in.
Ahead of
I
its
know.
time.
I know. It's.
Well, not really. That happened a while ago.
Yeah, I'm behind.
It was made for a different room, I guess. But if you guys recall, in Johnny Depp's career history, Amber Heard came out against him, accused him of abuse. Turns out she flipped the script a little bit. She was abusing him. But after her accusation, he was subsequently canceled. People stopped watching his movies. People were hating on him on the internet. He went through a whole lawsuit where he sued her for libel and slander, and that fell through for him too. But now Johnny Depp is addressing cancel culture. This is an article out of Variety. So Johnny Depp was at a press conference for a award ceremony where he was just meant to be talking about his career, but he got asked about his whole situation with Amber Heard, things totally outside what he was supposed to be asked. And eventually he got a question about cancel culture. His response was, "It's so far out of hand now that I can promise you that no one is safe. Not one of you. Not one of you. As long as someone is willing to say one sentence. It takes just one sentence and there's no more ground. The carpet has been pulled."
Why's all the
Just
rum
interesting.
gone?
Where's all the rum gone?
Jack Sparrow has a point.
Jack Sparrow has a point. You want to explain it?
Edward Scissorhands has a good point. Yeah, no, I mean, you are not safe no matter what. And that's kind of the pinnacle of cancel culture that I actually talk about this in my book about changing minds on the topic of cancel culture, is that like no one is safe, and that someone who comes and dogpiles on you for something that you said or something that you did, it's like open up their closet and I can guarantee you that there is something that would get them canceled. And the arbiter of truth is not this person on Twitter. I mean, truth is objective. And so them coming on and saying, well, it's because I think you're bad and I want to come and get these virtue signaling points is genuinely a cancer on society. And it's an envious attitude. And people would come and cancel Johnny Depp because they are envious of his success.
Yeah, and it's interesting. He got canceled for something that he didn't even do, something that wasn't even true. And he really, bore the brunt of what the worst part of cancel culture. And that's just simply an accusation that is thrown into the ether, coming and attacking you, and then subsequently having a negative effect on your career. So to have all this happen to him for something that was lie is just even more insane than just cancel culture at his face. Like when you want to talk about somebody like Chrissy Teigen being canceled for telling a young girl to kill herself, we're talking about two completely different stories. And cancel culture is such.
But she survived that. Didn't
and
she?
she did.
She didn't even brush it off.
She's still chilling
Yeah,
and tweeting and all this
Her
stuff.
cookbook is still at Whole Foods. I was at Whole Foods the other day and I saw her cookbook. I was like, well, let me just slip and see what's in it. I was like, no, I'm not.
Let me just take some pictures of the recipes.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take the pictures. I won't buy it. Okay. Let me get this pumpkin soup.
But here's another interesting point: is another black female, Nicki Minaj, put one toe out of line and went against the mainstream narrative, and she canceled. And that's she's at the top tier of like fame and celebrity, as far as I know, and like super A-list, and
Super A-list.
And that, to Johnny's point, like, no one is safe. But what makes you unsafe is not necessarily telling someone to kill themselves or bullying them or doing things that are actually reprehensible, but departing from the mainstream narrative.
Right.
And that's what makes you cancelable.
And it's interesting because I think there's going to be more developments around Nicki Minaj, but now they're running this whole thing about these girls that had drama with her and are accusing her and her husband of something, and now that's running amok on Twitter and going viral. Coincidentally, Twitter is making these stories about Nicki Minaj viral right after this whole thing happened with her. So it's really interesting, all the players that have a key role in cancel culture and how they sort of work together to alienate somebody and strip them of their livelihood.
It's Mean Girls.
It is Mean Girls, but on an industrial, it's like industrial strength Mean Girls.
Will is very hot and bothered about this. He just had to take off some
Take my
clothing.
jacket off. It's so hot in here.
Richard, any comments on this?
Well, you'll never be left enough for the left, so that's why you can't ever apologize to the left. And I'm glad to see Johnny Depp has seen that now. With that said, I wouldn't mind if they canceled the movie Lone Ranger, which was probably Johnny Depp's worst movie. I mean, I remember him back in the day in 21 Jump Street.
Hey, Lone Ranger, that's when he's
Rango.
Tonto.
That's when he's Tonto.
Oh, Rango.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen-
I don't have a problem with that. It's just a horrible, horrible movie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What's the
anyways.
worst Johnny Depp movie?
What is the worst Johnny
Lone
Depp
Ranger?
movie?
I didn't
Well,
see
let me
that.
I've
actually.
already said. You know.
Yeah,
you got it.
he's saying it's Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
I've seen so many Johnny Depp movies. I
I
can't.
think I
even
saw
tell you.
Rango. And I
Has
was
anyone
disappointed.
seen
Rango.
Don Juan DeMarco? Have you guys seen that
No.
one?
No.
He plays like a Don Juan from one of those like romantic figures from like the 19th century, 18th century, and then he's in the modern world, and it's not bad. But I had a bunch of friends, female friends, that just were in love with him. From
Right.
His Willy Wonka wasn't that great either.
It
No,
wasn't
no.
that great, but it wasn't.
What? No, I thought it
horrible.
was really good.
I
I thought that was an amazing performance.
he's a
He was very
fantastic character actor.
believable.
I think the cast around Willy Wonka on his version of it is what sort of ruined it. They made it a little
It was
cheese
Tim
ball.
Burton. It was Tim Burton. Yeah.
It was a little cheese ball, but he
Well,
did a
that's
great
why I
job.
hated it.
He's a great character
I hate
actor.
old Tim
It
Burton.
was like, oh, this is my
dare you.
childhood, and then it was a little creepy, but
My favorite Johnny Depp movie, I have to think about this. I've got them pulled up on the screen if you guys want to comment your favorite Johnny Depp movie. I'm going to say,
Oh, I was disappointed with him in Fantastic Beasts.
I never watched
It
it.
was Grindelwald or whatever.
I don't watch those children movies.
No, I don't. Let me see.
I like
Actually,
Blow was good.
Corpse Bride has a very special place in my heart from my childhood. I think Corpse Bride might be my favorite one. I just watched him
I
in
like
The
Donnie
Tourist.
Brasco too. I
I've
watched
seen
that
like
too.
less than 50% of these, to be honest.
Oh, I've seen over 50% of these. That's interesting.
What was the one where he was like the undercover mafia guy?
Donnie Brasco.
Yeah, that one is awesome.
Yeah, I like that
movie.
That one's awesome.
All right.
Okay, next
Daniel
celebrity
Craig.
story is
It's a
Daniel
Hollywood.
Craig.
It's a star-studded episode.
It
We
is
have
a
very
star-studded
Hollywood
episode.
themed
Well,
stories.
it's important. And talking about cancel culture, I would say in my book,
WNBA,
there's a
yeah.
chapter on cancel culture within my book on how to change minds on it and some of the most common situations. So, guys, I don't know if we put the book link in the description today.
We did.
We did? Okay, the
I
book link
did.
is in the description. Thank you, Taylor.
You're welcome.
It's in the description. We hit number 36 out of all books on Amazon.
Woo!
Let's give all of you guys a round of applause. Number 36 out of all books. That's
Hey.
amazing. We hit number 1 new release in a couple of categories on Amazon, which is incredible. Number 36 of all books. All thanks to you guys. So thank you. Make sure that you get your copy and make sure that you buy a copy for a liberal if you already bought one. Learn how to change people's minds with How to Win Friends and Influence Enemies. The link is in the description right now.
He could very well be on the New York Times bestsellers list
We are
if you
so
guys
close. We got a call.
go
So,
and buy it.
Yes.
Okay, now into our last bit of celebrity news. Daniel Craig, you know him as 007. You might have seen him in Knives Out, where he played a very molasses pouring out the mouth detective. He's come out
From
and said
Savannah.
this from Savannah. Now, Daniel Craig has said, why should a woman play James Bond when there should be a part just as good as James Bond, but for a woman? There should simply be better parts for women and actors of color. So essentially he's saying, why are we replacing Spider-Man with women? Why are we replacing Batman and 007 and all this stuff with women characters when we could just create women characters and then cast women?
I mean, Atomic Blonde was so great.
The title.
I can't believe I
Atomic
missed
Blonde.
it.
Yeah, the new
Yes.
Ghostbusters. I think that's up in my favorite movies ever. I mean, it was just
Well,
so
they
good.
are making a black Superman.
Yeah.
Are
Movie
they?
where they have a character that's actually Superman in another world where he's black, but now they're changing Superman.
Is that
to
like
being
evil
black.
Superman?
No, it's just like they're African American.
No, because he'll like have
So,
an alter ego. I know when you said black, I was thinking like dark Superman. You know,
well, there's black suited Superman.
you know what I mean. Dark Superman,
Oh gosh.
evil Superman.
You're just digging the hole deeper.
No,
over
I'm not
there.
digging a hole. I know what I said. I know what I meant. You guys watching, you know what I meant.
I know what you meant, but it's still hilarious. I
is
know what you
hilarious.
meant.
No, it's funny. It's very funny. So,
Okay.
but is he evil though?
Okay, well, for the record, I
No.
was in support of Idris Elba as a new James Bond when that was being discussed. I thought that would have been awesome.
Same. He's
but
sick.
they've tried this over and over again to make female James Bonds, and it's just not believable. Like, who was in the Atomic Blonde thing? I didn't even watch it, but
Charlize Theron.
yeah, there have been a couple of these like women spy movies where like the girls like seducing guys instead of it just flips the narrative, and like it just doesn't ring true with people, I think, on a very like obvious common sense human nature level. And so they're seeing like a 135-pound woman beat the crap out of some 200-pound guys. It's not persuasive and convincing.
Just look at throughout history and look at the most celebrated women of history. These women aren't kung fu masters or fighters in that sense. They're people like Harriet Tubman, who did something incredible, like getting people through the Underground Railroad to free them from slavery. Like people who, to be a woman hero, you don't have to be the same role as a man. You don't have to be a fighter and kung fu and martial arts and beating the crap out of people. Like, why? It's just so unbelievable when you see a woman doing those things. Like, that's just not how women really are. Okay,
When
women
it's
aren't
really
just
over the top. Like I remember back in the day, we watched. You ever see the show Alias with Jennifer Garner? Like way back when.
No.
I guess I don't know if it's because it was like pre-woke days, but she was like a cool super spy, and she'd get in fights and she'd win sometimes. But it was like still within the margin of like this is somewhat believable. But I think they've just ratcheted up to a 10 and just make it so absurd and in your face, because it's kind of like we talked about with the new Star Wars yesterday. Like they're rewriting reality to fit this ideological narrative, instead of just making good stories that stand on their own and resonate with basic common sense and human nature.
Yep.
And so you can feel it. You can feel when they're like trying to force this on you, like the female Ghostbusters thing and all that. And it just doesn't ring true with people, and so people don't go to watch it.
Yeah, it's so true. Like, I remember movies that I watched as a kid, like, not as a kid, but older, I guess, young teenage years. Like, the movie Enough with Jennifer Lopez, where she gets all badass and trains and, like, fights her ex-husband. I'm like, that's realistic, and that's a woman
No,
doing
it's
Tomb Raider
not.
was great.
Yes, it is. If you've seen the movie.
Daniel Craig
my
was in
goodness.
that, by the way.
What did you say?
Tomb Raider with Daniel Craig
Tomb Raider.
and
I've never seen Tomb Raider.
Let's
Angelina
not
Jolie.
kid ourselves.
Have you seen Enough
Daniel
by
Craig's
J-Lo?
in-
No, I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
Oh, it was the
J-Lo.
love interest.
Have you have not seen it? Okay, so see, Will judges things he has not seen.
I don't need to see it. I know the world.
You would be like, that is badass. J-Lo's badass in that movie. She
It's
is.
just this like, why do you have to make women like these super badass fighters and stuff?
Because sometimes they are.
Eowyn was great, okay?
Listen, I'm just asking for like, do you have like a real world example of a woman who was like that and like doing that
Joan of
throughout
Arc.
history?
Ronda
I don't know. Why don't we
Rousey.
ask
Yeah,
our
probably
resident historian?
I was going to say Joan of Arc, actually.
Oh, beat you to
Right.
it.
Molly Pitcher.
Don't know who that is.
Ronda Rousey.
Don't know. Yet.
Ronda Rousey. Yeah.
The WNBA.
I would not want to get in a
It's
fight
like-
with a WNBA
It's not
player,
a
I'll tell you
sexist
that.
thing at all. It's just like that's just not what women normally do. Like they don't go
Gina
out and
Carano.
fight tons of people. That's like a fighter in like an MMA match. That's not like women going and being fighting sword fighters who kill people.
Somebody said
Like-
Kim Possible.
Yeah. It's just not life. It's just not real life. You know,
Yeah.
women
Amanda
can be in
Nunes
those.
could beat you
women
up
can,
well.
of course, she could. Women can be in those roles and do all of that. I'm not saying they can't. It's just like, you
No.
understand. This is why people don't want to watch. If you remake a movie where a man was in it, and then you try and make it into some woman doing it, and it's like, it just doesn't resonate with people because
Yeah, I don't rewrite male roles for women. Just make a role for a woman. That's all you have to do. You don't have to go like, here's the new female 007. You can just make a movie where a woman is an agent. It's very easy.
I'm just saying some of the movies that they made where women are agents still, they go way over the top. Like that movie with
I
Jennifer
mean-
Lawrence where they made her one, tried to make her so cool. It's like,
Well, either way, girls want to see it. So
well, the
Do they?
ratings
Just
don't
don't-
show that. The money doesn't show that. People don't watch those movies because it's so
I don't know.
unrealistic.
She's the Man with Amanda Bynes was all right.
And there are tons of inspiring. There are tons of inspiring movies about women without making them into these crazy Hulk fighter people.
I love what people are putting in the comments right now. Now they're just putting like all the women, Annie Oakley, Dora the Explorer.
Dora the Explorer is a hero.
That's hilarious.
I think they made a live action Dora.
Oh yeah, there was a female Terminator. The Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls.
They kicked butt.
And everybody loved the Powerpuff Girls. Everybody, boys and girls, loved
Wonder
the Powerpuff
Woman.
Girls.
Let's not forget Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Everybody loved Wonder Woman, and that was like a huge box office movie.
The first one.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
one, not 1984, but the first one was. But yeah, no, There's definitely room for that in the Hollywood space. Although I don't think it's a very big room. I don't think it's a huge market for that. I'd much rather go and see a rom-com than watch a woman as an agent beating up men. So
Yeah, of course.
yeah. And that's just me though.
That's just me, though.
That's
That's just like the majority. It's like, women like do certain roles in society better than men do. They're more caring. They do things like being elementary school teachers and nurses, like things better than men. Like it's like the same type of deal.
Yeah, what
it's like if we agree that there are differences in gender, then there's like differences in these kind of things too. Of course,
and it's marketed differently. Of course, men are going to go see Jason Bourne and John
James Bourne.
Wick.
Oh my goodness!
Sorry, I knew the name. Jason Bourne and John Wick.
007.
New character.
You're really showing your expertise on
007.
this.
It's a new character.
I immediately corrected myself because I got it mixed up with James Bond, obviously, because we're talking about James Bond. But James Bond, Jason Bourne, John Wick, why do they all have J names? I don't know. But, yeah, and women are going to see things that have to do with people. They're going to watch dramas. They're going to watch rom-coms.
The Notebook.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson says that, men love things and women love people. So, there you
I
go.
love people.
Hey, man. No, you don't.
No, you don't. You're a man.
Only
Shut up.
only to the extent that a male can, Will. And maybe not even that. Now we're going to get into our final fun segment of the day, which Richard is going to help us out with. We are busting out the hot sauces. Now on this board, we have 12 hot sauces. Of course, number 1 is the weakest sauce, the weak sauce, and 12 is the hottest. And then, but wait, there's more. The wheel goes up to 15. Ladies and gentlemen, and it goes up to 15 because we have sauces that are hotter than the sauces on this board for whatever reason. We have Black Garlic Carolina Reaper, which is number 13. We have Carolina Peach Hot Sauce, which is Reaper and a whole mix of other peppers. That's number 14.
Can you pour the milk?
And he's preparing himself. And we have Debon Beyond Insanity, which is number 15, the ultimate ultra. Now,
Which is immediate death.
logistics-wise, how are we doing this? Are we...
Well, I'm pouring our milk preemptively.
I think Richard's going to ask the
Read the
question.
question, yeah.
Whoever...
Which,
we'll
by the
all
way,
answer.
Richard, can you describe what you do at PragerU so that people have some context? You are our...
Yeah. So the way Marissa described my job is that her nightmare is one day she finds out that we put something out and millions of people see it and it's completely wrong. And if that ever happens, they have someone to blame, and that's me. So my goal is to make sure that everything is accurate here. So I do different things. I write for some of the 5-minute videos, and I basically fact-checked everything. So
Amazing.
if something's wrong, it's my fault.
And you also have a podcast, Richard.
I do. It's called This American President.
Okay, you want to tell people about that podcast?
Yeah, so basically, it's if you guys have heard of the podcast Hardcore History, it's kind of similar. It's basically like a one-person monologue talking about
Are they
history.
5 hours long?
Well, we do series. Some of them, the episodes are usually like an hour and a half long.
Okay.
So yeah, we're in a series on Reagan now. So make sure you check it out. It's about how Reagan won the Cold War.
Sweet.
Amazing.
So, and all
Can I
our
ask you a
questions today
question?
are president themed, right?
Yes,
Can I
they're
ask you
all
a
about
question?
yes.
I was reading some stuff the other day about Reagan and about gun rights and amnesty. Did Reagan support gun rights and amnesty?
Well, he supported
Or
gun
some
rights
gun restrictions?
even after he was there was an assassination attempt on him. As governor of California, he made a few compromises on that issue. When it came to immigration, he actually did support amnesty. He has signed an amnesty. But when it came to gun rights, he was a pretty strong supporter of the Second Amendment as president.
Yeah. I think that's something good to note.
Yes.
That it's like conservatives will herald Reagan as like he's the best at everything. This is what conservatism is. And it's like he's a man just like Trump was and some of the other great people like Calvin Coolidge that weren't 100% right on everything. We shouldn't take these people and put them on this huge pedestal and say that they can never do anything wrong because then we can't criticize it. Ronald Reagan being for amnesty is, in my opinion, not the greatest thing in the world. But, you can like look at all these different issues and take it at face value. So I think that's important to note.
Okay.
Whatever, you history whitewasher.
Now we're going to get into the trivia. Hot sauce roulette trivia. Now all of these are presidential questions. I'm going to go ahead and say before we even start, let's preface this with I don't expect myself to get even a single one of these right. So
That's
if
the
I
point.
do,
I think we're all going to have to spin the wheel, which is kind of the point.
now. Okay, Richard's going to put the question out there. Are we trying to see who gets the right answer first, and then the other two have to eat hot sauce?
No,
Or...
each one of us takes a turn.
Okay.
If you get it wrong, you have to spin the wheel.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, Richard, I have your presentation locked and loaded, ready for you. Here's number 1.
Okay. So first, it has always been my dream to be the host of a game show. So thank you for making my dream a reality.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. So first question: which president often spoke Chinese with his wife?
And is this for Taylor? Are you going first, Taylor? Or
So
I'll go first.
basically,
Mine's
the
good.
idea is that there was only one American president that
You
could.
said this on the show last time. Who was
Yeah,
it?
he could actually speak Chinese pretty well. And this was a time when very few people in America spoke
Jack
Chinese.
Posobiec would know this.
Jack Posobiec would know this.
I'm just gonna stall until the chat gives me some fake answers.
Oh my
You can't
god!
use the
You
chat.
can't look at the chat.
Somebody said Washington. Don't think that's likely.
I don't even think China was around back then.
He spoke Japanese, guys.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna say, gosh, I don't know.
You have 3
Woodrow
seconds.
Wilson.
Final answer?
Sure.
Okay. Wait.
It's just
How about-
Taylor.
I guess it's just me because we gotta get through these, or should we
Okay.
all give a guess?
I think whoever, if any, I don't know. Let's just
We
all
gotta
give a
get
guess. Let's
through
try. I have obviously have
You
no
guys have a
idea.
guess?
Herbert Hoover?
Final answer?
Sure.
Okay.
I have honestly no. I'm just gonna throw JFK. I have no idea. No idea.
Okay.
Obviously, it's not JFK
Well,
Final answer?
because I have no answer. Yeah,
Final
that's
answer?
my final
Okay.
answer. It is.
So the answer, Will's right. It was Herbert Hoover.
That's right.
What?
That's right.
How did you
Let's
guess?
go.
You just guessed.
No, I didn't guess. I knew it.
No, you
did
didn't.
not.
Let's go.
Okay, Taylor, it's our turn.
Oh, what a
He's
child.
more excited about getting that question right than he is about how many book sales he's made.
That's very
Loser.
true.
Loser.
Oh, man.
Okay, we're spinning. I'm going to spin the wheel for Taylor and I. Let's see what number we get. And it is spinning.
This is
We
for
should
me?
have a sound effect for that.
13! Right out the gate.
Nice.
Jeez.
Is that the hottest
ridiculous.
one?
No, it's the
No.
second from the hottest.
Okay,
All right,
13.
Here's my chicken nugget from McDonald's.
I will sauce you.
Sauce me up.
Okay.
Man, I'm
I like how we're
jealous.
just passing this among hands
Chicken
here.
nuggets.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh my jeez.
Jeez,
Okay.
that's a ton.
No, it dripped off.
Why
You're
would
fine.
you do that?
You're fine.
All right, here we go.
Gosh.
Cheers, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Oh, you
Oh.
spin for you both.
No, we're just gonna because we both
Okay.
got it wrong.
All right. All right. Next question.
Definitely got a tingle.
Okay, let me pull
I
up.
already know I'm going to get all of them right. So
That's the
you
black
shouldn't even
garlic
give me,
Carolina
gun me these
Reaper.
chicken nuggets because I'm not going to get it right.
Okay, next question. So here's the setup. We've had 46 presidents, 45 people as president. 2 were Catholic. You guys know who those were.
JFK and Biden.
Yes.
Yep.
Everyone else was Protestant affiliated, 2 of whom were Quakers. Which 2 presidents were Quakers?
Gosh, absolutely no idea.
Benjamin
Absolutely
Franklin,
no idea.
obviously.
One of
he
our
looks-
greatest
He
presidents.
looks like
wasn't
a
a
Quaker.
president.
Herbert Hoover.
He looks like a Quaker.
Yeah, Will's just going to guess
So you
Herbert
have to
Hoover.
get both right.
Quakers. John Quincy Adams is one of my guesses because he looks like a Quaker.
John, he does look like a Quaker.
He's on the old
Old
spots,
white
right?
man.
I'm
Must be a
looking.
Quaker.
I'm thinking older, but it's just like I don't have any
I think.
idea.
I think I know.
Okay, go. What do you know? Well,
All right.
All right, yeah, enlighten us.
George Washington and John Adams.
Nah.
Final
No.
answer.
Final answer?
No way.
Final
Okay.
answer. Oh, you
No
said no way
answer.
on the last one, and guess who got it right?
no, I have no answer. I have no
Answer.
I don't have any. I don't have an answer.
We'll just give one.
I'm going to go. Oh, gosh, there's some good ones. I'm going to go
Are you looking through a list of presidents?
John Tyler
How are you? How can you look at a list of presidents?
and John Quincy Adams.
Amala, choose. You have 3 seconds.
I need a
Alright,
list of
final answer.
No,
presidents.
just choose. We got to get through these.
Adams and Taft. I'm just throwing random stuff out there. There you go.
Okay. The answer, sorry, no one got it right.
Uh-huh.
The answer, the first one is Herbert Hoover.
Dang it!
I can't
Wait, are you
lean on
serious?
this.
Yeah, it was Herbert Hoover.
So
Oh my
funny.
goodness!
The
Unbridled
second one, do you guys want another chance at this one?
I
Okay.
will
No.
The
obliterate
second
myself.
one, Richard Nixon.
What?
Nixon was
I thought
a
Quaker,
Quaker.
like stopped being a thing in like 1812.
Me
No,
Ew.
he
the
was a
guy on
Quaker.
the Quaker Oats container. I thought that was like George Washington.
Oh my god.
Isn't that the same thing?
Well, I'm spinning the wheel because that was horrible.
Richard Nixon was a Quaker.
Wow.
Number 3
That's
for all of
crazy.
us.
When he resigned, he and Kissinger were in the White House together, and he referred to
Quaking?
both of them as a Quaker and a Jew. and they prayed together right when he resigned.
Why does that
Wow.
sound kind
So
of
he
racist?
still called himself a Quaker.
You know, a Quaker and a
it was
Jew walk
Nixon,
into a
so-
bar. Can you not?
Sounds like a party.
Number 3. Oh, you want to do it?
I guess I'll
Okay.
apply my own.
Number 3, we're eating
Level 3,
it.
I can handle this. Mm-hmm. Even Will can handle this.
Even I can. And that's saying a lot.
It's pretty hot.
This just doesn't taste good.
Yeah, it doesn't taste very good.
No, but it's hot. Okay, let me pull
That's
up the
hot.
next question for you guys.
It's like very vinegary.
Okay.
Okay.
The next question. Which president, but this was before he was president, he would supplement his income by being a fashion model?
I think I know this one because I've looked at all the handsome presidents when they were younger.
Why?
And, I think I saw a TikTok or something where it was like presidents that you didn't know were hot or
Yeah, I
something
think I
like
know
that.
what you're talking about.
It's not Reagan because he was an actor. I think it's Ford because I remember him being on there and he's
Gerald
an older
Ford?
president. I think it's Ford because he's handsome.
Okay. Final answer?
That's my final answer. Do you guys
Taylor.
have
And Grover Cleveland was a looker, but
Taft in that bathtub, baby?
You know what else they did in that bathtub?
oh man.
Oh, poor Taft.
I
Poor
don't know.
Taft.
Amala sounds really confident.
I think it is him because
I mean, JFK seems like the obvious suggestion, but
because he's handsome.
I'll
yeah.
rule out Nixon.
okay.
Handsome man he was.
Yeah. I think it's Ford because
All right.
I think he was the only other one
I'm
that's
gonna
not
ride
like
or
a
die
modern
with
day
Amala.
president.
I'm
You're
gonna
saying
say
the
Ford.
same?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same.
All right, I'm gonna say Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy
Carter, Ford, and Ford.
Carter,
Yep.
Ford, and Ford.
Okay.
Who is it?
Sorry, Will. They were right. It was Ford.
Dang
it
it.
wasn't Carter.
Get
Dang
some.
Get wrecked, Will.
I just wanted to be.
Get
I
wrecked.
knew that was the right answer.
15.
I knew that was the right answer. I just want to be contrarian.
Spin
Oh,
that
okay.
wheel.
Spin the wheel. What? Give it a 15. Oh, 11.
Ooh, that's no joke.
11. It's no joke. Where is my 11?
I hate
there
this
he
stupid
is.
game.
Once.
11, baby.
So
It's brown. It looks like
Ford
poop.
was actually one of the pictures that when he was a model was actually used for the cover of Cosmo.
Okay.
So he actually was on the cover of Cosmo.
Wow.
With his then girlfriend.
With his
Dang.
then girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's some Gavin Newsom Vanity Fair
Yeah,
energy.
there you go.
I'm looking. Okay, there's a young Gerald Ford.
Oh, we got the picture. Nice.
I'm just looking. I don't
Yeah,
see.
there's the Cosmo.
There's
if you
Cosmo.
See lower, yeah, right
Okay.
there. That's Gerald
that looks
Ford.
like a painting.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
That looks like
it's
Sean
based on
Connery
a
and Marilyn
portrait,
Monroe.
but-
Nice, nice. Well, I'm glad that I just got one of these questions right, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll be happy for the rest of my life.
But I got the
So,
hard one right. So,
This is great television. It's fun and educational.
There you go. We're all
Exactly.
learning something. Here's the next
Except my
one.
mouth is on fire.
Okay, next question. Which presidents are buried in Arlington National Cemetery?
Do we get to know how many of them are?
Yes, 2.
All right, Eisenhower and Washington. No, that wouldn't have been.
wait, can you tell us how many?
I think Washington was buried
Two.
at his homestead,
Two
right?
are buried in
Who else
Arlington
was
National
Washington's in Mount
Cemetery.
Vernon.
Zachary Taylor was military.
Washington
Andrew
is definitely at Mount
Jackson.
Vernon, right? That's where he was buried. I believe he was buried at his homestead.
How many more questions are there?
Who
That
served?
was really hot.
Well, you got a deal.
I feel like I've said at least one of them.
What you said?
Right.
Eisenhower and what?
Zachary Taylor was a military guy.
Who
Andrew-
served? Did Lyndon B. Johnson
Jackson.
I'm
serve?
going to say Ulysses S. Grant
Oh, Ulysses Grant.
And-
That's a great answer.
and Kamala Harris. No.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna say Teddy and Grant.
Yeah, was Teddy in the military? He was, right? I don't know. He's giving me a stone face.
So Teddy and Grant is my answer. Final answer. I'm locking in. I'm
I
probably
don't
wrong.
think Teddy
I accept
Roosevelt
it.
was in the military.
I'm gonna say Grant.
I'm pretty sure
and-
Teddy Roosevelt was a boxer.
I'm gonna say Grant and Eisenhower. Final answer.
I'm gonna say Ulysses S. Grant and Eisenhower too.
Okay. What did I say? I said Grant and Teddy. I don't know. That's my final answer.
Okay.
Wait, I want to change.
Wait, Grant and Teddy, and you guys said...
Grant and Eisenhower.
Okay. All right. So, sorry, no one was right on this.
Okay.
I said I was gonna change, and no
So-
one did.
No, you're not gonna get it
The
right.
most famous person that's buried there, as far as presidents, is President Kennedy. He has the eternal flame there. But the one that...
the eternal flame. Okay.
Yeah,
keep
but the
going.
one that people forget, actually, Taft is buried there.
Taft.
He is laid to rest there.
Bathtub boy is buried
Yeah.
at.
I knew it.
question.
No, but he's not buried in a bathtub.
No,
Just throwing that out there.
I'm so glad that they got him out.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, let me spin the wheel.
Chat, I'm sorry. The chat was going crazy saying JFK, and I didn't look.
Spinning the wheel.
Look, you can't. That's cheating.
I was looking at my list of presidents.
Okay, I'm spinning the wheel, guys.
No looking at the chat.
Wheel spin.
No, you just got a 6.
7.
Oh, no,
7?
Well, you got a 7.
I can deal with
because
7.
Nobody was watching.
That 11 was hot.
Well, did you eat the whole chicken nugget, Will?
Yeah, I
Why'd
did.
you eat the whole chicken nugget?
I have one left.
There's.
No, I'll do it myself.
I got
Oh
more.
my
I got
gosh.
more nuggets over here.
You're the clumsiest person alive.
I know I'm clumsy. You enjoy it. It's okay. Okay, so wait, it was JFK and Taft. Wow.
I didn't know Taft was in the military.
It sucks to suck.
He wasn't. He was Secretary of War. I think by being a president, you're commander in chief.
Oh, so you just
And
get,
so,
that's,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
weak sauce.
well, you
That's
know.
weak sauce.
That's level 1. Oh gosh, that was a lot. Dang it.
Okay, next question, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. This is actually one of my favorite questions. So, who was the president that who served the last time there were no ex-presidents alive? Meaning all of the previous presidents had all died, and when this person was president, he was the only president that was alive.
I mean, the person before him had to be assassinated. Mm-hmm. Or died.
Or
like,
died
immediately.
during the term, yes.
Yeah.
Who was after Taft?
All things revolve around Taft.
I know.
I know.
Apparently. And he's a
I
heavy
feel like
guy,
I've
so
heard this
orbit around him.
before.
Is after Taft Woodrow Wilson?
What if it's like an early president? What if it's an early one?
Wait, is this a trick question?
None of these are trick questions.
So it's not
Good.
George
So
Washington?
it's not George Washington.
Well, I guess the
no.
other presidents were
I don't
alive
like
like
trick
after
But
him.
believe it or not, like there were several times after Washington was president when there was just one president alive. All the previous presidents died.
Man,
Okay.
short lifespan after you be president.
I want to think it's an early president.
I mean, Jimmy
Wait,
Carter.
Andrew Johnson? But he wasn't a president, right? He was a vice
He
president?
was a president. He was both.
Oh, he was both?
Yeah.
And who did he take over for?
Lincoln.
That's right.
Will, stop asking
All
questions.
right, I'm
going to
say Andrew Johnson.
It's a good answer. Solid.
I'm going to say Andrew Johnson as well.
Stop,
I'm
Taylor.
gonna be.
You didn't
I'm
even
gonna
know.
say Andrew Jackson.
Also, I'm not looking
Two
at
can
any
play at this
presidential list.
game.
I'm not looking at
You're
any list.
asking
You
for
guys are
clues,
looking-
though.
I knew his name.
I say Andrew Jackson. Final answer. And I know I'm wrong.
You can say Lyndon Johnson.
I could say
to-
Lyndon Johnson just to keep with the Johnson theme,
Yeah.
because JFK was assassinated. But
Who wants to be a
I have a
millionaire?
feeling there was other presidents alive when Lyndon B was president.
Wait, I'm going to change
So-
my answer.
No, it's too late.
We all said Andrews.
I'm going to say Woodrow Wilson.
Okay.
Right.
What's
Final
the real
answer.
answer?
Okay, final answers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, none of you guys were right.
Dang.
We're
It
never
was
right.
Richard Nixon. So
Everything's
it was
Nixon.
You told us this.
It was actually relatively recently because when Lincoln was president, there were like 5 or 6 ex-presidents when he was alive. So this was in the 1860s because there were a lot of one-term presidents. But when Nixon was president, so obviously JFK was killed, and during his presidency, Truman, Eisenhower, and Johnson all died. So there was a point where he was just the only president alive.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Some people say had he had
Alive.
advice, had he gone to some of his predecessors, someone like Eisenhower could have told him to come clean about Watergate. Who knows? It's all speculation. But
Right.
he didn't have the benefit of being able to call up somebody. Nowadays we have like 4 or 5 of them alive because they're living so long. But it wasn't that long ago when there literally wasn't any ex-presidents alive.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
I remember you telling us that. Well, now I have to spin the wheel. Here we go, guys. Oh, good old 14.
Oh, gosh. That's the
No, I
Carolina
is-
I can't
peach.
do it.
That's Carolina
I
Peach.
can't do it.
You can't do it?
We've never even had this one.
I know it's going
It
to be
might
bad.
not be that bad.
I know it's going to be
I've
bad.
tasted it. It's all right. It's all right for me.
I
but
can't do
Will
it.
is.
I
Will's a
have to
sensitive
do a
Sally.
video after this, and then
Oh.
I have a 6 a.m. flight tomorrow.
I too have to
There's
do this
no
video.
way I'm going
I
on
have
a
to do the
6
video after this, and I have a 6 a.m. flight too.
Yours-
21-year-old girl's doing this better than you, Will.
Yours is at 6:10 a.m.
Oh,
Mine's at
my
6
goodness,
a.m.
whatever.
That's 10 minutes, of taking care of yourself.
I'm doing it.
Here, can you pass it to me? I can't believe he's wussing out. You're literally ruining this whole game.
I
That
can't
one?
do it, man.
The flavor on that
makes
one is
me
actually
feel
good.
So horrible. Genuinely, it makes me feel so bad.
I'm like doing
You've never even
ASMR
had
into this
this.
mic right
I
now.
know what all of them do to me. They rip my insides open like a grizzly bear escaping his hibernation cave.
Oh, so dramatic. You should have been an actor. You should have been Reagan. Next one.
It's fine. You could handle
Okay.
it.
Which president received offers to play football for the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers?
Brett Favre.
Oh, I think I know this one. Wait. It's Gerald Ford, I think. That's my final answer.
I feel like it's also Gerald Ford because
Oh, okay, copycat.
No, it's just like-
ride my wake, why don't you?
I could definitely 100% be wrong. He just got the look of a football player,
I just remember reading something about it.
which I feel like got him into modeling and all that.
You know, I'm going to say Gerald Ford.
We
I was
could all
thinking
be
long and
wrong.
hard about this one.
What-
Final answers?
Final answers.
Gerald
Final
Ford.
answer.
I'm okay with being wrong.
You're all right.
Oh,
All of
yes.
you guys are right.
You're welcome.
Finally.
He was offered to play while he was president. No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
I
would
was
be
going to
cool.
say, what the hell?
But he actually turned down the NFL to go to law school. And then from there, he became a politician. One day became president.
Wow.
Wow, okay.
Gerald Ford's a
Super
cool
cool.
guy.
Next
Yeah.
one. Here we go, Richard, for you.
Okay. So I'm from the Philippines. So this, I have a personal affinity for this president. Which president was once the governor of Philippines?
You told us this.
I don't think he told us this.
You did tell us this.
I don't know.
Eisenhower.
Lyndon B. Johnson. Just because I have no answer.
Obama.
Come on, Willie.
I don't
Bill, you
know.
have 3 seconds.
Wait, you didn't even give your answers.
Yes, I did.
What'd you say?
Somebody just gave a super chat saying Will being a sissy boy doesn't want to tell you. They paid $5 to tell you that. That's
By making
hilarious.
us money.
That's
By me
That's true.
sissing out, I made you guys some money.
Buy his book and he'll do it.
Yeah, buy my book and I'll do it. I'll do the bomb. Because you guys are the bomb for buying my book.
Watch it be like
All right, let's get
Teddy.
our answers
Watch
in.
it be like Teddy or like
Teddy would be interesting.
No, he's not. I'm gonna say Howard Herbert Hoover.
okay. Final answer. What is the answer,
Howard
Richard?
Herbert Hoover.
Howard
Okay,
Herbert
so you
Hoover.
said Hoover. You're Eisenhower. And you,
I said Lyndon B.
Lyndon Johnson. Okay.
Obviously, that's wrong.
You should have gone with William Howard Taft if you're going to say it, because it was Taft.
I
Bathtub Boy
knew it.
strikes again.
Yes.
He's killing us.
He
from
really
the
is
grave.
killing
I
us.
know. And next time we do this, every single answer is gonna be tapped.
I'm spinning the wheel.
And Hoover.
Spinning the wheel.
Eisenhower did live in the Philippines.
Oh.
He
5.
lived
give me
under
a 5.
MacArthur. He
So
served
you're
under
saying it was a
MacArthur.
pretty good guess.
It was a guess, but he wasn't governor.
That must be pretty smart to pull a guess off
And
like that.
Teddy Roosevelt's son was the governor of Philippines.
Oh, wow.
But not Teddy. His name was Teddy Roosevelt.
that was a
Jr.,
good guess, too.
But yeah.
Oh,
But it
Teddy
was-
so
Roosevelt.
Teddy was a good answer?
It wasn't right, but
Teddy
it was
Roosevelt
closer.
Jr.
It
was also
closer.
the governor. That's
Yes.
crazy.
That is
Yep.
crazy. Maybe that's why I thought about
I could
it.
have just said I met Junior. I met Junior.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you misheard me.
5.
I swear.
Ooh,
Whoa,
it's sort of
whoa.
open.
All right, I'm gonna try not to pour a ton on like I have the last.
All right, how many more questions are there?
Couple more.
Just buckle up. All right, what we got next?
I'm putting it up for
Okay.
you guys. Ugh.
Okay. What does the S in Harry S. Truman stand for?
Okay, guys, let's come together as a team on this one. I'm tired of this. Sylvester, Sullivan, Stanford, Sistine Chapel, Sussex,
Shooter of missiles.
Shooter of missiles, Sanctimony,
Harry
Sacrilegious.
Sherman.
Sherman sounds pretty solid. Harry Sherman.
Scott.
Sherman
Stanley?
Truman doesn't sound really good.
I'm gonna say Scott. Final answer.
Hot Scott.
Scott's just nodding because his name is Scott or because the answer's right.
I'm gonna go Sherman.
Okay.
Gosh. Sylvester.
Final answers?
Yes.
Final answers.
Fine.
Okay, so earlier you asked me if there was a trick question. This is actually a trick question. So Harry
Richard, I hate
Truman's-
trick
I
questions.
I know. So Harry Truman's parents couldn't decide whether to name him his middle name Ship or Solomon. Because one side of the family there was someone with the last name Ship or middle name Ship, and then the other one was Solomon. And so they just compromised. They said, we're gonna just make it an S. So the S doesn't actually stand for anything.
That is wild.
Yeah, and there's this actual debate whether Harry S. Truman, there's a dot after the S or not. And they asked Truman about it, and he said, okay, just put a dot there. But sometimes it was written as Harry S. no dot, just Harry S. Truman.
Harry Struman.
Yeah.
Harry Struman.
That's
there you go.
crazy.
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to do one more of these presidential trivia questions. This will be the final one. Since that was a trick question, do we do hot sauce?
Yes.
Okay. Let me
Even though Richard told us there were no trick
I know.
questions.
yeah,
And then
here's
he
the
tricked us.
spin. Here's the spin.
I'm going to have
That's the only
emotional
one.
trauma from this.
Number 3.
That
Not
was
bad.
the only trick question. I
Oh,
promise.
Taylor,
I
you
got
have
th-
number
yeah,
3.
I got 3 over here.
Okay, you pour that out while we get the next question.
Okay, next question.
Which president had the most kids?
Yes. That we know
Okay,
of.
I have to think about this.
That we know of. Yeah.
We have not yet had a Mormon president. So I was going to lean on that. It hasn't happened yet.
LDS.
That is true. That is
We haven't
true.
had an LDS president. We have not had an LDS president.
Bonus if you can guess how many kids.
Bonus what? All we do is lose and eat hot sauce. I wish there were bonus points for what we could get something out of it.
Who had a lot of children?
Wow, Will's really defeated. He went from like super high energy and enthusiasm at
Well,
the
I got
beginning
the
of
first
this.
question right, and then I got every question after that wrong.
That's the point. You learn about history, and it's the redeeming. You
I'm gonna
enjoy that. It's worth the pain.
Our earlier
I'm gonna say
presidents had a lot of
I'm going to
kids.
say Jimmy Carter.
Nah.
I don't know. I think the Carters have a lot. I think our earlier presidents had a lot of kids. I'm trying to think
It's
of like
gotta
our
be in the
founding fathers.
1800s.
I know like Alexander Hamilton. Obviously, he's not a president, but he had like 6 children. So
All right. Well,
He had a lot of kids.
he did. He had like 6 children, which was not unstandard for the time. So I'm trying to think of like around that era.
joke's on you.
He's a very fertile man.
He was. He was.
yeah.
The swimmers were working.
But there was a president who was even more fertile than Alexander Hamilton.
Can we get okay?
Fertile.
Lower half of presidents or upper half of presidents? Can we get that hint at the very least?
I already guessed. You guys just got to guess.
Like chronologically?
Chronologically.
Earlier.
Earlier.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
John and
changing my
Abigail, I
answer.
bet, had a lot of kids.
All right. Ulysses S. Grant. Final answer.
No way.
no way. I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna say John Adams.
James Garfield.
Okay.
Final answers?
Final answers.
The answer is John Tyler.
Oh, he said
He
John,
had-
and I was so excited.
He had 15 kids.
Holy.
And he had a kid, I think, past 60.
Wow.
Because he married his first wife died. He married a young lady named Julia Gardner. And he had a kid. So he had a kid in his old age. That kid had a kid in his old age. So there's like one grandson of John Tyler who was born in 1790. One grandson, I think, is still alive today.
What?
Yeah, there were 2.
Wait, not 1790?
There's a guy alive today whose grandpa was born in 1790. That's John Tyler.
That is wild.
But he had 15 kids.
Guys,
That's pretty cool.
This is so informative.
I know.
I'm learning so much.
Now I know how to combat the left.
Now you know how to combat the left because you know history. Now we have one final spin on our spin. And thank you, Richard, for coming on and doing presidential trivia with us today.
Thanks for having me. And
course.
I'm sure
Double
everyone's breath
5.
smells great.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I got
Is
the
that
5 over here.
Oh, he's got it.
Why does Taylor always have the sauces?
We're going to finish up these final sauces, guys. We really appreciate you coming on, watching our show today.
we
If you
do.
like our show, make sure that you go on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Google Play, and you can get our podcast on there where you can listen to it. You know, maybe you can't watch it. Excuse me. Hot sauce coming back up. You can't watch it live, so you go on our podcast app and you can listen to it. And if you want to watch it live, every single weekday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, it is on the PragerU YouTube and Facebook page. So make sure you guys check it out. And last thing, you can order my book. We hit number 36 out of all books on Amazon, which is an amazing accomplishment from all of you guys. Thank you so much. And we hit number 1 new release on a lot of lists. So please continue supporting the book. Go get yours down below. If you already got one, go pre-order or just go buy one for a friend or a liberal or someone else who you think could use the book. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Everybody noticed that you didn't eat your chicken nuggets. So
Shut up, guys. I don't want to eat it.
I pre-bit it for you. There we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Richard, for being on. And we will see you tomorrow at 2:30 PST. Bye, guys.
Peace.